In this video, I'm going to take you to 4 different condos, 3 in Myrtle Beach, 1 in North Myrtle Beach, all oceanfront at varying price points. 1 in the hundreds, 1 in the 200s, 1 near the 300s, and 1 in the 600s, so that you can see the comparison side by side. If you stick around until the end of the video, I'm going to show you a condo that's only around $100,000 if purchased with cash, generating around $16,865.90. And if purchased with financing, generates around $8,729.90. Let's get after it right now. All right, guys, we are on site at the Verandas right here in North Myrtle Beach. As you can see behind me and probably here, they are doing all kinds of work to this building. That might be the reason why the HOA fees have increased so much. Anyways, let's get in here and dive into these gross rental income numbers. Now, one of the things I do want to point out about this resort, like some of the other ones in our market, it doesn't have very many on-site amenities, and so it might be advantageous as an investor to use an off-site property manager for this property, because your tenants are most likely not going to be upset about not having access to a front desk and other things like that when you go with the off-site property management company. Now, as far as the gross rental income on this unit, now this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom unit. It is $92,500 it brings in. So we basically took an off-site property manager's projections. He had it coming in at $85,000. We had a conversation with him. He told us that these units can bring in as much as up to $110,000, these 4-bedroom units in that North Myrtle Beach area. And so, we kind of met you halfway on the gross rental income. We didn't say it would go as low as $85,000. We didn't say it would go as high as $100,000. We parked it right in the middle at $92,500 for the gross rental income for a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom unit here at the Verandas. Now, guys, let's talk about private property management. That's $9,250 you're going to pay using an off-site property manager like Evolve at 10%. That brings you to a subtotal of $83,250 once you minus out your property management fees. Now, your taxes, the 2020 taxes on this particular unit was $4,646.09. Again, you can expect those taxes most likely to rise in the coming year after you purchase it, because the assessor is going to charge you more once the sales price of the property increases. Your insurance, we've got you estimated at $2,000 for HO6 insurance. That is a little bit more than some of our other units. This property is a much more expensive property. We just, took an estimate saying that you'd probably spend a little bit more money in insurance owning a property like this. Now, your annual HOA dues here at the Verandas, those come out to $27,960. Guys, they have recently increased, and from what we understand, after speaking with another agent that has a property listed in this complex, it's due to the building issues that they're having fixed, and it's due to the recent rise in insurance costs. Again, for more information on that, check out our video on insurance increases in the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina market. Now, bringing you to a projected profitability after you minus all the expenses here associated with this property. That's your HOA annually, your insurance, your taxes, and your property management fees. It brings you to a projected profitability of $48,643.98 if you were to buy this unit cash. Now, moving right along to financing, if you were to pay 20% down on a property like this, you'd end up paying down about $119,976. That's 20% down. Now, again, with that average gross rental income of $92,500 minus a 10% property management fee of $9,250, that's going to bring you to $83,250. Now, your principal and interest assumes an 8.24% interest rate, and that's at 30 years. we've got you locked in at $43,224. You're going to pay each year in principal and interest. Now, again, with your taxes, that 2020 taxes were $4,646.09, and an estimated HO6 insurance of $2,000, with annual HOA dues of $27,960. If you minus that from your subtotal of $83,250, that's after your private property management expenses of 10%, you're still going to be left profitable with $5,419.91. We are right outside the Sailfish Resort right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is another resort that does not have a lot of amenities, so it would be advantageous to use off-site property management because your tenants really aren't going to be perturbed about not being able to talk to the front desk, or use the coffee shop or the restaurant, or any of the towel service that might be at other resorts. Now let's go through both the cash scenario and the financing scenario when investing in oceanfront condos here in Myrtle Beach. Now, the gross rental income at the Sailfish Resort for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom is $49,973.52. Now, the property management fee when using an off-site property manager is $4,997.35. Now, that is with a 10% management fee. That brings you to a subtotal of $44,976.17. Now, you got to take your 2020 taxes out. That brings you to $2,473.92 in tax fees for 2022. Of course, expect those taxes to rise if your purchase price is higher than the previous purchasers. Now, your HO6 insurance, we have you estimated at $1,000, and your special assessment here at this unit, there is a special assessment. It runs $2,199.60. Now, just a real quick caveat on special assessments, guys. Special assessments can range from anything like they're adding curb appeal to the property, they're painting the entire complex. More recently, some things that we've seen a lot in our market are insurance increases. For more on that, please check out our condo update on insurance market increases, on insurance increases in our market. But you can have special assessments for a variety of reasons. Now, finally, let's talk about the HOA. Annualized over the course of 12 months, it comes out to $18,252 even. So when you minus all of the expenses, your HOA for the year, your special assessment, your HO6 insurance cost, your taxes, from the subtotal of $44,976.17, that's the number after you've paid the 10% property management fee. It brings you to a projected profitability of $21,050.65. Now, guys, all that said, it seems like with cash, this is a pretty smart move. And I want to throw out one last point, guys. The reason why the profitability is so high on these properties, the projected profitability, it's because of a 10% property management fee. That's the secret to making these condos more profitable. If you're paying 25% or 40%, there goes all your profit. All right, moving right along to financing. Looking at the financing scenario on a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit here at the Sailfish Resort. Guys, your down payment is $59,980. That's assuming a 20% down payment. We're also going to assume an 8.24% interest rate once we get to those principal and interest on the property. But for now, again, your gross rental is $49,973.52. Your 10% property management fee comes out to $4,997.35. Then that brings you to a subtotal of $44,976.17. That's $44,976.17. Your principal and interest, we've got you at $21,600. Again, that's 8.24% interest rate over 30 years. And then your taxes at $2,473.92. Your HO6 insurance at $1,000. Your special assessment for this condominium at $2,199.60. And then finally, your annual HOA dues of $18,252. Now, when you minus all your expenses on this unit here at the Sailfish Resort, unfortunately, you are negative $549.35. So it looks like that using financing on this condo is not going to be a smart move. And keep in mind that when those taxes increase, because these properties have appreciated over the last few years, it's, in my opinion, it's safe to assume that those taxes are going to increase. It's going to be even more negative. If you have any other additional special assessments or HOA increases due to maybe insurance cost rises, if that hasn't been factored in just yet. And that's one of the things that you need to look for in a solid and professional agent. An agent that's going to do the due diligence and find out, hey, has this HOA fee been impacted by the recent rise in insurance premiums? You want an agent that's going to be digging in and doing those due diligence, asking those due diligence questions, really digging deeper into your deal to make sure you have a square understanding and you're making an informed decision when you invest in an oceanfront condo in the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina market. All right, guys, moving right along. We are here at the Meridian Resort in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We're going to look at a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom oceanfront condo here. Real quick, before we jump into the numbers, I do want to point out that one of the advantages to using off-site management at the Meridian Resort is the fact that there are not a lot of on-site amenities. There's basically a pool from what I can tell, and so I wouldn't imagine that your tenants are going to have very many issues not being able to use all of the other on-site amenities that normally come at other oceanfront resorts, like gift shops and restaurants and Starbucks and different kids clubs and things like that they have at other on-site resorts. So all that said, I feel like you're probably going to have a much easier time using an off-site property manager and bringing in extra or more profit as opposed to using the on-site property manager. All right, guys, let's dive into those numbers. All right, looking at a cash scenario here on a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, these units generally bring in $25,000 on average in gross rental income. Now, by using an off-site property manager that only charges 10%, that is a $2,500 fee, bringing you out of that $25,000 to $22,500. Now, your 2020 taxes were $1,113.27. Quick caveat, when you purchase a property and you pay more for the property than the last purchaser paid for it, the assessor is most likely going to be increasing your taxes in the upcoming years. So while that number is $1,113.27 now, it very well could be higher next year. Your estimated insurance, this is for HO6 insurance. Some HOAs do include HO6 insurance, some do not. We've estimated $1,000 here for HO6 insurance. That's going to cover those private property belongings, your furnishings and your furniture, stuff like that that's inside the unit that you'd like to insure. Again, we've estimated that at $1,000. And then finally, you have your annual HOA dues. That's going to bring you to $9,072 for the year. When you minus all those expenses from that subtotal of $22,500, it brings you to a projected profitability of $11,314.73. So investing with cash does seem like it's a very smart move. Now, moving right along to the financing portion of this. The financing scenario, we've got you estimated at paying 20% down on a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo here. That brings you to $39,980 down. Now, we are using an 8.24% interest rate for a 30-year loan with property management fees of 10% using an off-site property manager. That's $2,500 coming out of the $25,000 average annual gross rental income on these properties. That brings you to a subtotal of $22,500. Now, your principal and interest we've got you at $14,400 for the year. And then your taxes, those 2020 taxes were $1,113.27. Then bringing you on to your annual HOA dues at $9,072. Now, when you minus your expenses going the financing route from your subtotal of $22,500, that's after you've paid your 10% property management fees out of that gross rental income of $25,000, you are negative $3,085.27. All that said, guys, it does not seem like financing at the Meridian Resort is a smart move. One last quick caveat I want to point out about the Meridian Resort is you're negative $3,085.27 right now. When those taxes increase, that's going to obviously put you even further negative. And if you were to have any HOA due increases, again, that's going to put you even further negative. All right, guys, peak season when all the visitors hit our market is April through September. We experience 20 to 22 million visitors each year here in the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina market. It is the #2 vacation destination on the East Coast and the fastest growing area in the entire United States out of the 150 most populous areas here in the US. So all that said, guys, that helps bolster our vacation rental market in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. If you're interested in learning about on-site versus off-site property management, please check out our other videos that talk and work through those dynamics. On the Sea Mist Resort. Now, the Sea Mist Resort was built back in 1977. It's in or closer to the southern part of Myrtle Beach. This area of Myrtle Beach is not necessarily one of the nicer areas in Myrtle Beach. However, the Sea Mist Resort is a hidden gem. When I cover the financials on these properties, you are probably going to be extremely impressed. They're probably some of the best value on the beach. I mean, where can you go on the beach and get an oceanfront condo, a true oceanfront? You step out on the balcony, you've got sand and you've got ocean right in front of you for $110,000. Now, the Sea Mist Resort recently has had new ownership take over. They are excellent people and they are working to turn this beautiful hidden gem around. So you can fully expect some great changes right here at the Sea Mist Resort. Now, the average sold price of an oceanfront unit right here at Sea Mist was only $96,000 and some change. There is like a lazy river and also a pool, but there are not a lot of on-site amenities here. This could be an upside for an investor interested in using off-site property management. We are almost there, guys. 5804, coming right up on the right. The unit we're about to go into here right at the Sea Mist Resort is $109,000. It is an ocean view condo and it is 385 square feet. Let's get in here and check it out. All right, we're going inside, guys. So as soon as you walk in, you'll notice there is a full kitchen here. You have refrigerator, small sink, stove. There's a microwave over to the left, cabinets. You have two queen-size beds. To my left is the bathroom. Pretty standard. There is tile in the entrance. You have like some LVP looking flooring. Let's see what the view is like. Now this is an ocean view, not an oceanfront unit. But you can still see the ocean and you can see the city. Your balcony is a good size. Guys, just up the street is the Landmark Resort. Now these units, you know, the one bedrooms that are shotgun, actually oceanfront, are bringing in about $33,000 a year. You know, at most 35, some change on that. They're $165,000. You can buy a unit here at the Seamist for literally 110. You might be able to talk them down to 100. The average unit this oceanfront sells at 96,000. We're talking, you know, $50,000, $60,000 difference, and it's bringing in $28,000 of gross rental income a year. Now that's, you know, that's from firsthand information from an owner that lives here at the Seamist. He lives here and he both owns a rental unit that he works himself, and he works it pretty hard. He brings in $28,000 a year of gross rental income, and he's anticipating bringing in $30,000 this next year. The point is though, right up the street, 2 blocks away at Landmark Resort, you're spending, you know, $65,000 more, but you're only making $5,000, $7,000 more in gross rental income. So for investors that might have a cap on how much they can invest, let's say you only have $100,000, that's your limit. The Seamist Resort is your best value. It's going to give you near the same profits that you get for spending $165,000 at the Landmark Resort, just 2 blocks up the street. You know, earlier in the video, I did say that there were not a lot of amenities on site here. There are a lot of pools here. There is definitely a water slide, a lazy river. But as far as like restaurants go, there's not restaurants, you know, there's not really a fitness center. There's not a lot of the other amenities that you would see at some of your other oceanfront resorts. All right, you waited for it. We're here at the end. I am excited to tell you all about those gross rental income numbers here in the Tides building for an oceanfront condo at the Seamist Resort. Now, again, I've told you I spoke with a gentleman who owns a unit and rents a unit here. He brings in $28,000. He brought in $28,000 last year in gross rental income, but he does work it pretty hard. Now, if you use Evolve, an off-site property management group that only charges 10% to manage your rental, you're looking at only spending $2,800 in property management expenses. Now, that brings you to a subtotal from that $28,000 to $25,200. Now, from that $25,200, the previous year's taxes on a unit here was $974.10. Excuse me, that was the 2020 taxes on it. Now, one quick caveat is when these units sell, if they sell for a higher price, most likely the assessor is going to charge you more money on taxes, so you can expect an increase on that in the coming years. We've estimated $1,000 for HO6 insurance. That's to cover your personal belongings there in the unit. Now, also keep in mind, in South Carolina, you are going to have to pay a property tax on items like your furnishings, your furniture and stuff in your oceanfront condo. So that is not included in this estimate. Now, your annualized HOA dues. The HOA fees here at the Seamist Resort are currently $530 per month. Multiply that by 12 to get your annualized HOA dues, and we're talking $6,360. So after taking out your expenses on this unit, when you have that subtotal of $25,200, you're minusing your expenses, you're left with $16,865.90. Now that's for a cash buyer. In my opinion, if you are strictly looking at the financials, you are strictly interested in the financial return that you're going to make on a unit, I feel like for the price point, the Seamist Resort is an excellent value. Now, obviously, it's not in the nicest part of town. Obviously, the building and the grounds do need work. However, the new owners are working on that currently. So you do stand, in my opinion, to most likely gain some nice appreciation. Again, as I mentioned earlier, just 2 blocks up the road, those 1-bedrooms are selling for as much as $165,000. So in my opinion, the Sea Mist Resort is one of the best investments on the market here in Myrtle Beach, especially if you're in the lower end of the price range wanting to invest. Now let's look at the financing route. If you finance a unit here at the Sea Mist, that's Oceanfront, this is what you could look at projected to bring in. You have a down payment of $22,600. You are going to have to pay 20% down on the condo. This is looking at an efficiency unit here, bringing in $28,000 in gross rental income on average. Now, with a 10% off-site property manager like Evolve, you're going to make you're going to pay $2,800 for those property management expenses. That brings your subtotal down to $25,200. Now, your principal and interest for the year looks like $8,136. Combined with our 2020 estimate on taxes of $974.10, combined with our estimated insurance for HO6 at $1,000, and also combined with your annualized HOA dues of $6,360. When you minus your expenses, your total expenses from the subtotal of $25,200 after property management expenses, that's offsite property management, you're still left with a whopping $8,729.90 projected profitability on a unit here at the Sea Mist that is Oceanfront. Now guys, I got a call just yesterday from an investor out of state looking to make a purchase in our market. She was nervous. Is this a scam? She was trying to figure out what she should do. I am a licensed South Carolina real estate broker right here in the state of South Carolina. I'm on a team that's been in business for over 10 years. Our broker in charge has been in business here for over 47 years in this market doing business. We can definitely provide you with references or anything that you'd be interested in to make you feel secure about making a purchase here in the Myrtle Beach market. Guys, I can totally understand that, being an out-of-state investor, you have all kinds of concern. You've never been to our market perhaps, or you visited and you want to purchase an investment in Oceanfront Condo, an investment property. You got money sitting in your account and you want to put it in the right thing so you get a good return. Totally get it. Totally understand it. And we help buyers and investors just like you, even people that are relocating here all the time. So a simple two-way conversation will make this process so much easier, get your questions answered, and help remove a lot of the anxiety or intimidation on making a purchase in the Myrtle Beach market. Take, for instance, a recent friend of mine saw a YouTube video, got in contact with me. We just made an offer on an oceanfront condo right here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, just today. She came in town over the weekend. We checked out properties. We corresponded back and forth through email and text messages. She found what she wanted. We did our numbers and our due diligence. And now she's just made an offer on what hopefully is going to be her first investment property right here in our market. That story could be your story. So don't let procrastination, don't let putting it off, don't make an excuse, don't let fear stop you from taking that leap and stepping into starting to build some financial wealth in your life. If you found the information on this video helpful or useful in any way, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and share these videos on your social media with friends and family. Click anywhere on the screen to find other helpful videos with great information on investing in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina real estate.